All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Now we have an artificial tree. We bought the farm and we wanted to pass it on to our kids. And they were out working hard. You know, we had chickens and horses and, you know, all that stuff that goes with a farm. And then a couple years into it, all of a sudden, my son and daughter go, we don't want the farm. We're like, what? We just put so much, you know, time and effort and all that good stuff into it. And they literally woke up one morning and go, we don't want it. So we moved. We're still in New Hampshire, but we did sell it. But it was fun while we had it. It was a cut and choose. So you actually, you know, like Christmas vacation, cut it and drag it back and strap it on their car and, you know, strap it down. It was really great. Tons of animals, tons of wildlife. It was a great, we had a pond that froze over. So in the winter, you'd go out and skate on the pond. I mean, there was a rabid raccoon that chased our kids off the pond up to the house. I mean, all those great experiences you need as a kid. So that was awesome. So thanks for coming tonight. Hopefully you'll get a couple tidbits out of it that will help your day-to-day life and help make your brain sharper and smarter and better and healthier. And even if you take just one thing out of it, that's great because we're all trying to, you know, get a little bit better, right? So all of our programs, we team up with what we call a subject matter expert. And the team or company for this specific program is called HPI, which stands for Human Performance Institute. They're out of Florida. It was actually started by a gentleman by the name of Jim Lair. Does that name ring a bell? Jim Lair, kind of a fitness guy. Wrote a lot of books. Jim Lair, if you look him up. But anyway, the company was sold to Johnson & Johnson a few years ago. So we didn't just put a bunch of pictures and charts and graphs together and say, hey, this is good, you should do it. There's actual science behind it, PhDs, and a lot of books that are written with this specific program in mind. So I hope you enjoy it. What I want to do is start off by giving you guys a little quiz. Where is it? There it is. Okay. So can everybody see this okay? Can you guys in the back see it okay? If you can't in the back, we have a sheet that you can look at it. And everybody has a pen with you, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you about a minute to try to memorize these pictures. And then there's on page 2, I believe, in your workbook, a place to write them down. Okay, so I'll give you a minute to try to memorize. It's no big deal. Don't stress over it. It's a fun quiz. We'll have another fun one at the end, I promise. All right, so you ready? Okay, go ahead and start. Just memorize. Don't write anything down yet. Okay, so try on page 2 to write down as many as you remember in the boxes. I'll give you a freebie. They don't have to be in the exact box. So just write what you can down, whatever's easiest for you. Don't cheat off your neighbor. I'm watching. Okay, pencils down. Sorry. Usually I get some groans, right? All right, so I'm going to put this back up. So can you mark on your picture how many you actually got right? If you can mark them down, just count them up real quick. All right, so raise your hands. How many got at least 4? Okay, keep them up, keep them up. How about 6? 8? Okay, 9? 10? 11? 12? 13, 14, 15, and 16. You got all 16? No? Or 50? So how many did you get? 13. Okay. So yeah, I was just if you had how many. So 99% of the time, I usually get it where the person that has the hand raising at the very end is a woman. So guys, take notice of that. They remember everything. All of it all. All right, so that's good. Now, if you go back to the picture, okay, we're seeing that. Sometimes you put down or remembered what it was because it was very unique, or you just read a story or a movie. Sometimes it's just because it was a bright color. Did everybody get the phone booth, pretty much? Why do you think that is?
They don't have it anymore?
Yeah, it's very unique. It kind of stands out. It's a bright color, but it's not the clock. It's not the lamp or something that we see every day. It's something we don't see every day, and it's stuck out, really kind of stuck out. So that's kind of neat too. So that's how our brain works a little bit. Is it's either something we read about, something we saw, or it's just something very unusual that we write it down. So there's no good or bad response to the questionnaire. It's just some kind of a fun way to work. All right. So if you go back to page 1, I'm going to follow pretty much the workbook the rest of the time. What I like about this one is the very last sentence of the first paragraph, and I'll read it. It basically says that what's more, research suggests that age-related cognitive decline, or our brain, characterized by a decrease in the brain's ability to perform regular functions like judgment, reasoning, memory, learning, language, actually begins in healthy, educated adults in their 20s and 30s. That's us, right? That's everybody. I've done tons of these seminars in all age groups. And, some of the ones that I do, I get younger ones, whether they are right out of college, like, yeah, I don't need this. My mom needs it or my grandma or whatever. No, you do, because you're in your 20s. That's when it starts. That's actually when it starts. So the good news is we're all in the same boat. And the good news is there are ways to slow it down or reverse or hinder it with changing just a couple little things we do during the day. So that's what we're going to learn tonight, okay? All right. So right now, I'll ask you to turn to page 18. 18 and 19, it should be one more quiz for you guys, all right? This is a self-assessment. It should look like this. So if you can, again, take your pen out, read each of the statements, very quickly answer a check if it applies to you right now. Not where you want to be or where you were, but just right now today, does this apply to me? If it does, make a check. Otherwise, skip it, okay? Answer very quickly. Do not overthink it. At the bottom of each section, count how many check marks you have and put that total on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it takes these 2 pages, so I'll give you a few minutes to fill that out. Okay? Just read the statement. I eat something every 3 to 4 hours during the day. Is that me kind of every day? Yeah. Then I check that. Otherwise, don't put a check, and we'll total that up here in a second. All right, so put the total on the bottom of each category. Then put a little star or circle the number of that or the title of the lowest 2 numbers, right? So if you have this first section, if you have like a 1 or a 2, put a circle by it. Over here in this section, if you have a 1 or a 2 or a 3 checks, put a circle or star. The only reason I'm asking is that way you can focus a little bit more on that category as I talk about it tonight. Again, you don't have to. We'll go over each of the categories, but that way you kind of know maybe this is an area that I need to spend a little bit more focus on. And afterwards, when I'm done, if you want to come up and ask me some questions on that specific category, I can help you as well. Okay? All right, so that's okay, you guys. If you didn't finish, you can finish when you get home. Not a big deal. But if you want to turn back to page 4, it should say food is fuel. That's the first category, which is about eating. Again, we're not talking about diets at all tonight or dieting, but we're just going to talk about maybe when you eat, how often, what types of things. Again, all to make your brain sharper. And that's what I think most of us are interested in. My grandmother actually passed away with Alzheimer's, so it's in my family. So I'm very acute to making sure that I'm trying to do everything I can to follow what this program is telling me. Again, PhDs, they sold their company to Johnson & Johnson, so they're doing something right. And so if you can pick up a couple things from this, that'd be great. So if you look at the middle graph that's on that page, on page 4, it shows a little squiggly line. And basically what that's showing is that we should basically try to eat or snack every 2 to 3 hours. Instead of eating, and you've heard this before, right? Instead of eating the big 3 meals, big breakfast, big lunch, big dinner, that's really hard on our body and hard to digest all that. So it's better for your brain and healthier for your body if you just do smaller meals but more frequently during the day. So think back to elementary school. I know that was only a couple years ago, right?
Yeah.
What happens across the country at 10 a.m. at elementary school? Snack time. Everywhere. They know they got to keep the kids fed because they have to keep their attention span so that make sure that they're learning. If they do not feed them till noon, they know they're not going to learn, which is what's the point. So at 10 a.m., it's snack. At noon, it's lunch. 2:30, they're out of school, going home, hopefully. Snack. 5 o'clock, dinner, right? You see So why are we not doing that as adults? We don't have time, Nick. I'm trying to, I want to skip breakfast because I'm trying to, save a little here. Can't do that. There's a number of reasons why you can't do it, but it's really hard on your body and specifically hard on your brain. When you eat a lot in a meal and it's more than what you should, you feel kind of stuffed and a little bit heavy, the rest of your body shuts down a little bit to try to help that digest. So it's taking away blood from your brain and other things to make sure and focus on that. That's why it's so hard to do that to your body. Don't eat a huge meal and then go right to bed after. There's supposed to be 2 hours. I know a lot of people eat real late and that's okay, but you got to stay up 2 hours to let your body digest it and then go to bed. You'll have a better night's sleep. You really will. If you go to sleep within 30 minutes of after eating dinner, your body's still trying to digest this, but then your brain's trying to work, and I'll go over all that and what you're doing when you're sleeping, but it's really hard on your body. So just all the suggestions I'm going to give you guys tonight, try for 7 days. If you don't like it, stop or change, but just try what I'm going to suggest tonight. 1 or 2 things. Try it for 7 days, and then we'll kind of come back and visit. If you turn to the next page, page 5, what I like to do on each of these pages is read the little blue box. If you see it on the upper left, that's a study or a little statistic regarding the specific category that we're talking about. In this case, it's food. So the blue box says a study of 2,000 Manhattan, New York residents, averaging 76 years old, found that those eating a Mediterranean diet actually had a 68% lower risk of developing Alzheimer's. So are we eating Mediterranean? So on the right-hand side gives you a suggestion of brain power foods and some of the things that fall along that Mediterranean diet. Why not? Try it for a couple weeks. What can it hurt? Especially if it's in your family, like it's in my family. But what I like about this is there's a couple things you can kind of point out and do some things, and all in moderation. Even look at that third arrow down. Wine. Oh, Nick, I've heard you can't drink alcohol. Well, wine's not bad actually for the brain in moderation. But look at the very bottom arrow. What does that say? Spices. You guys put spices in your food?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Tastes really good. That's the first thing. I mean, bland food, you're like, oh, here's this again. But you throw some spices in, that tastes great. But spices generally are very healthy for your brain. One specifically, if you guys, back when you were kids, I remember when I was a kid, this is what my mom did for me, but cinnamon sugar toast. Oh man, that was so good. Cinnamon sugar. Well, the cinnamon is one of the best spices for your brain. Anybody go to Starbucks? I know some people are like, I'm against Starbucks. I'm not Starbucks. I can't say that in Boston and New Hampshire, man. They'll beat me up with a stick because it's Dunkin' Donuts, right? Starbucks, whatever. Very expensive. But you go to the back of the Starbucks, and what's by the little napkins and the creamer? Cinnamon. See, you do go to Starbucks, right? It's free. It's free. So shake it in your latte, put a little bit, it tastes good, and it's great for your brain. Throw it in your cooking. Just try it. It tastes really good, and it's extremely good for your brain. So again, just a couple things out of it. You're like, Nick, I don't want to change everything I'm eating, but hey, if you're doing coffee or things like that, you could throw that little tiny change in there. Might make a little bit of a difference in your brain health. So little things you can change, it's easy to do. All right, so page 6, if you turn a page. This is the part that talks about activity is activating. Oh, let me read the blue box. So again, this I would highly recommend you check with your doctor. Don't say I told you to do this, but check your doctor. It says in the blue box, aerobic exercise just 2 times a week could lower your risk of Alzheimer's by 60%. Wow. So wait, if I change my diet, I'm eating Mediterranean and I'm doing, just 2 aerobics twice a week, that's huge. Check with your doctor, make sure it's okay. But the point to the activity is, and everyone says, oh, problem with America, problems in America. What's the problem in America? One of the biggest problems in America is, y'all sit. Get up. No, I'm just, But we're sitting. We sit in traffic. We sit at home. We sit on our couch. We sit at work. We sit. And you're sitting on your largest muscle. You actually are. So, but when you're doing that, you're cutting off the circulation to your brain. Okay, so Dan and I, he's my coworker back there. We go back to Denver, which is where Janice is based. Every year we have these year-end meetings. And so we listen to portfolio managers and analysts for the week. And we're 6 a.m. breakfast working. Lunch is working. Dinner is working. It's non-stop for the week. So I check in with my wife each night. And I'm on the phone. I'm like, oh. She goes, you sound really tired. Did you climb some 14ers? Some mountains? It's the Rockies. You go skiing? I'm like, no. We're in meetings all day. She goes, you sound bushed. I'm like, I am. She goes, what'd you do? I'm like, I don't know. But I sat. Go back to elementary school. How long are the classes? Anybody know?
45 minutes.
Yeah. 40, 45, 50, right there in that little sweet spot, because they know any longer the kids start to nod off. They're not going to remember anything they learned, so what's the point? They got to get them up and moving. The bell rings, boom, they're up, they're walking, they're doing things. So what I suggest is you have phones or alarms or computers or whatever. Set a little alarm. If you're at work or if you're retired, doesn't matter, you're at home. Set a little alarm, and at 45 minutes, a little chime goes off. Get up. Whatever you're doing, watching TV, doing Sudoku, doesn't matter. Get up. Go to the bathroom. Go to the fridge. Get a drink of water. Call a friend. I don't care. But get up. Try this for 7 days. See if that makes a difference in what's going on with your energy levels and what's happening with your healthy brain and healthy lifestyle, right? So the funny story, I told the earlier session, I'm married almost 20 years now, 2 kids. So Dan and I went down for the training down in Florida because we had to go through this training before we came out and did the presentations for you guys. And it was 3-day training with this information. And I'm like, oh. So I'm learning all this great stuff, and I come home to my wife and I go, honey, I know what's wrong with you. She's like, what did you just say? I'm like, oh, no, I meant. But what I learned down there was a number of things, and she was tired. Full-time mom at home with the kids and all that good stuff. And she would skip breakfast in the morning and have coffee first thing. Who has coffee first thing? That's okay. There's a small little chemical in there that tricks your stomach to say you're full. That's why most people that have coffee first thing, they go, I'm just never hungry in the morning. I drink coffee. You got to have a little bit of food. You got to change that habit so that you're actually getting yourself ready for the rest of the day. Try it for 7 days. She's like, Nick, I'm not hungry anymore. I go, just try it. So what I mean by having something to eat is just one of the slices of square cheese. You guys have seen that, right? Just one slice. 2 bites of a banana. Not even a whole banana. It's just a few little peanuts in your palm. That's it. Try that for 7 days. See if that changes your energy level. Then get up every 45 minutes. Go to the bathroom. Call a friend. Try that. It's a huge difference. We have our folks back in Denver that we call them internals, which are like internal salespeople that do phone calls and stuff like that. Those telemarketers that call you. No, I'm just kidding. But we tell them, we go, when you're on the phone, stand up. Right? It just, energy levels up, it sounds better, it's more, so why aren't we doing the same thing? Try this for 7 days, see if you see a difference. I think you'll see it. So they talk about resistance training and the other stuff. Again, check with your physician on those other things. But I think all of us in here can get up every 45 minutes, walk back, go to the bathroom, get a drink of water, see if that makes a difference. The blood's going to get to your brain. It's going to make everything clearer. Trust me, it really, really, really does. All right, so turn to page 7. This talks about balanced stress is a balanced life. So I'm not going to talk about anything political tonight. You guys are like, oh, whew, great, yeah. Because it's all on the news, all in the newspapers. It's like, come on, if they got rid of that, there'd be like one little story about puppies, but that's it. But I'm going to talk about this blue box. I'll read the blue box. It says, experts estimate that 75 to 85% of all healthcare costs are what? Stress. Wait. I can fix the healthcare problem in America. Less stress. But how do you do it? How do you do it? So does anybody know what happens when you go to the gym and you work out? Do you know when people you see working out, have you ever heard that? When people go to work out, what are they trying to do? Make their muscles stronger, right? Do you know how to make the muscle stronger? You actually tear it. So if you're lifting a heavy weight and you're doing lots of reps, it's actually ripping your muscle. So then, could you do that 24 hours a day? No way. So what happens when you rip that muscle and you're working out and you give it a break the next couple days, anybody know what happens to the muscle? It mends itself back together stronger. Right, so the next time you go to work out, you can lift a little bit heavier. Okay, what about your brain? Are you giving your brain time to recover? Time to relax? How do you give your brain recovery? We're going to give that to you right now. One, first and foremost, is, working out also releases endorphins. You've heard of that, right? Helps you fend off colds and sicknesses and things like that. Endorphins. There's one other thing that releases endorphins. Does anybody know? Come on.
Meditation.
Close. Laughing. I already had you do it earlier, so you got some endorphins tonight. Laughing. Seriously, belly laughing. Not the, that was a good one, yeah. No, not one of those cocktail laughs, but a belly like, my stomach hurts, my cheeks hurt, no. Laughing. So our kids, we moved, like I told you, moved from the farm and we actually finally just got TV back in our house. So we didn't have TV before because I don't want my kids to see the commercials, the junk that's out there, so no thanks. But instead, we bought the entire season of I Love Lucy. Anybody seen that? Especially the chocolate one's my favorite. La, 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 la. So anyway, so we bought the whole I Love Lucy, all the Andy Griffiths, Barney Fife, give me a break, he's awesome. Anyway, Barney Fife. So all those funny things. And so before bedtime, we'd watch 2 shows, 20 minutes each. Kids were laughing. They don't get sick. I mean, what a blessing. They don't get sick, but they don't get sick. So I'll go into some other things we do for them. We just now plugged in TV and, they're old enough and all that good stuff, but try that for 7 days. Do you all watch news before you go to bed? No? Good job. Good. Don't. Try it 7 days. You're like, Nick, come on, man. I got to watch my XYZ show. No. Let me ask you a question. They did another study where they actually hooked up people, the electrodes on their heart and perspiration and brain and the brain waves, and they actually have them watch all these different kind of movies. And they had them watch drama movies. They had them watch horror flicks. They had them watch action movies. And then they had them watch comedy. And the only movie that brought down their heart rate and perspiration was the comedy. So what else are you watching? Bachelor?
Oh, yeah.
Survivor?
Oh, yeah.
You're not laughing at that stuff. Maybe you are. But that does the same thing. It's not reducing. Try the comedy. Just try it. Seinfeld, there's tons of stuff on Netflix. There's tons of stuff on there. Just try some comedy. Before you go to bed, try it for 7 days. See what you think. I love it. There's a couple other strategies on the page. Talks about meditation, talks about deep breathing exercises. They say that just a couple, 2-3 times a day, if you can just consciously go really deep in, really deep out. Oh my gosh, that alone reduces, the stress and the heart rate and all that good stuff. The other thing, the third arrow down, journaling. Grab a blank piece of paper, grab a notebook, grab something, put it by your nightstand, right before bed. Just write down 3 things that you're thankful for from the day. What I like to write down is, I'm thankful for the day. I got through the day, right? And then first thing when you get up in the morning, write down 3 things you're thankful for getting up in the morning, right? The first thing I always write down is, thankful for waking up, right? So anyway, just try that for 7 days, try it for a month, see what you think. But what you're doing is you're training your brain to be positive. And if we're positive and laughing, it's an unbelievable, great health effect for your body and your brain. So try that, okay? All right, so number 8, resting is working. Same electrodes, same things they hooked up to these people. They found the brain waves of people that were sleeping, I kid you not, were more active than when they were awake. Did you know that? Your brain waves are more active when you're sleeping than when you're awake. That's a study. So are you giving yourself enough sleep? Think back to elementary school. Did you have a curfew? Hopefully you did, but yeah, maybe you didn't, whatever. But most kids, they do. Hey kids, it's bedtime. Oh, Mom, 15 more, 30 more minutes, one more show, right? Why aren't we doing that now? We're adults. We don't need to do that. Try it for 7 days. A lot of these programs I do, and I get someone that comes up afterwards, and they say, Nick, I do have a hard time sleeping. I go, well, tell me, when you go to bed, when do you get up? How often do you get up during the night? How long do you sleep? All these good things. And I'm finding out there is a pattern. The pattern is, there is no pattern, right? Friday night, man, it's Friday. Ooh, it's Saturday. I got this. I mean, sometimes it's tough if you're a firefighter or nurse. I mean, your schedules are tough. I get that. But if you can, set yourself a schedule. Our bodies crave scheduling. They do. They crave a routine. Trust me. So set yourself a schedule for 7 days. See if that affects your sleep patterns. Even if you're not tired, you know that you set yourself time for 10 o'clock, go to bed. Your body eventually, a couple, 3, 4 days, going to go through, it's 10, got to go to bed. And you will. You will. Trust me. Try it for 7 days, okay? The key with the sleep is making sure also that when you're sleeping, that's in your bed and in your bedroom, right? Don't watch. I know it's hard, but don't watch TV in bed. Your body's very, very confused. You're watching this bright screen and activity and news or action or bachelors or whatever you're doing, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's 11, click it off, your body's like, no. We were just up and I'm in the same position, same location. No, your body needs to change locations. Try. If you're having a hard time sleeping, watch TV in a chair in a different room, change it up a little bit. Then you know when it's time at 11 o'clock or whenever your bedtime is, you click, turn it off, you walk. Your body is physically going to a different location and you're going to bed there. If you have a hard time sleeping, that's probably what's going on. A lot of people do that. They watch or they fall asleep to the TV. I get that. Change it up. If you're not sleeping well, talk to me afterwards. I'll give you some other tips. Okay? Okay, the next page, page 9. A social life is life support. Oh, let me read the blue box. Page 9. Recent studies show that a lack of social connection is as harmful to your health as smoking. No offense if you do smoke, but that's the study? Lack of social? Yeah. So you guys are doing a good job by being here tonight. That's the first step. So join groups. Get together with folks, your friends. The internet is not social. That is nowhere near social. It's not. So I know we all love it. We can keep in touch with our grandkids across the country, all this stuff. I get that. My daughter's down in Virginia, and I'm, texting and keeping in touch with her. But gotta get close enough that you can touch people. That's social. That's what we're talking about. Try to do groups. Try to change it up. Bring in something new. Try something new. Have you guys ever been to those painting studios? Those are fun. A lot of it. If you like the wine, they have a paint and sip. These things where you're drinking wine and you're painting at the same time. And I mean, you're painting, so you're accessing a different part of your brain. That's good. Oh, and by the way, you're with a bunch of other people doing the social side. That's good. Why not try it? Very inexpensive. My daughter didn't do the sip part, but my daughter did the painting thing with her girlfriend that was getting married, and it was kind of where all the girls, the bridesmaids, went to do as part of their bachelor at night. They just did the painting thing, and she had a blast. They painted a bicycle. She had a blast. It's so much fun, and seeing how the different tires came out in the different baskets. Try it. Just try something different. That's the key. Okay. So there's a book called The Life of My Disconnect. I believe, The Winter of My Disconnect. It's called The Winter of My Disconnect. And it's a woman, she was a single mom in New York with 3 kids. And one night she yelled, "Dinner!" in her apartment. And all 3 kids text or email her back, "Can you wait? I'm on the phone. Not now. Can you keep it warm?" And she's like, "That's it!" She yelled, She pulled the plug on all the electronics in the apartment, took all their phones, all their laptops, all their iPads, and said, "You're done." I think the kids were 13, 15, and 17. How do you think that went over? Could you imagine that? They flipped out. And she said in the book they were like, withdrawing from drugs. I mean, they were like, they didn't know what to do with their fingers, and they were just in the corner, and they didn't know what to do. About 2 weeks goes passed, and they kind of were starting to settle down. What she said to them is, look, I will buy you anything else. Musical instruments, painting, books, games, anything you want, just nothing electronic. And they were trying like, but mom, I got homework, I got papers I got to write stuff. She goes, the library's right down the street, free. You can access the computers and internet there. 6 months later, she gave them back all their electronic stuff. 6 months. And they actually said when she gave them back, that we're good, Mom. We don't need them back. She goes, no, I need to keep in touch with you, so just that's okay. Go back. But they actually said, thanks, Mom. Wasn't that great to hear from kids? Thanks, Mom. They saw what their friends were like once they were separated out of that element and said, I don't want to go back. That's how bad it is. So social, connect, be close enough to touch people. That's the thing to do. And just have fun, right? Just create new stuff. I bought my wife for Christmas, she's always wanted to do dance lessons, so I bought her this dance lesson thing, and oh my gosh, we're fumbling around like crazy. But it's fun. It's something new. It's whole people we've never even met before, so why not? It was 4 lessons, beginner. That was fun, all right? So life support. All right, so next one, page 10. This talks about strengthening your mental muscle. I do not remember the gentleman's name. I apologize. But a gentleman wrote a book. He was a POW, and he was in, a cell for like 4x6 for, I think, 3 years. So to pass that time, because you go kind of bonkers if you don't have stuff to do, to pass that time, he actually visualized playing 18 holes of golf or 36 holes of golf each day. So you can imagine, what did he visualize? He visualized walking to his car, unlocking the car, opening the door, getting in, sitting down, mirror, reverse, right? Driving to the golf course, getting in, opening his trunk, sitting on his bumper, getting his shoes off, getting to the first hole and shanking it into the sand or, whatever. But he went in, I think shooting 98 as a prisoner, and he came out 2 over par. He's a scratch golfer now. He wrote a book. He has audio tapes. He trains Olympic athletes now. There was these 2 Navy SEAL snipers that were in this training to be snipers. And all these guys were doing the training during the day. And then these 2 found this guy's audio books, and they would go in their car and listen to the guy's discs. And the rest of the guys were like, what are you guys doing in that car each night? We're doing our training. I was like, oh, shut up. Well, they came out of that training having the best scores of any rookie in the history of the Navy SEALs. And they finally pulled them aside and said, look, guys, you've got to be cheating. No one's ever had scores like this. What are you doing differently from everyone else? These visualization books on tape. That powerful. That's how powerful the brain is. So the blue box on that page talks about these 2 groups of people. Has anybody ever played piano in here? It's tough. It's tough. So these 2 groups, one were taught to play the piano using their fingers, touching the keys, right? Ding, 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 chopstick, bop, 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 touch it. And then this other group over here were taught the exact same thing, but they were not allowed to touch the keys. After 6 months, the study said the 2 groups played the piano identically well. Not touching the keys? Could you imagine? Playing just as good as someone practicing? That's how strong. Michael Jordan, anybody remember that guy? He said he would go to bed at night and shoot like 1,000 free throws or 1,000 shots all over the key in his mind. And that's how he'd go to bed. I think he's a pretty good shooter. But why not give it a try? So what we suggest is, do you have a conversation that you have to have with somebody coming up? Do you have a meeting coming up? Do you have an event coming up you're planning? Do you have anything coming up that you're maybe a little stressed about or something that you want to just practice through? A conversation with a teenager? Oh, yeah. Conversation with a spouse? Oh, I'm not going to go there. But run it through your mind. Just run it through. So I've done these meetings a ton over the last 5 years. And an advisor called me and told me the results of the one that I talked to this lady. She came up after the meeting. She said, I am so stressed. My daughter's getting married. I have a wedding planner over here, but the weather looks like it's going to be a downpour, and there's no contingency set up. They're not worrying about it. She goes, what should I do? I said, well, plan like what you would do if it did rain. Where would you put the chairs? Where would the cake go? How about the gifts? How would you protect the dress? All these good things. Is it going to be muddy? Where would it be? She goes, that sounds kind of stressful. I said, well, just think about it. Don't put too much on it. Just think about, maybe 30 minutes in the next 7 days. Just think about what you would do. It rained. It ended up raining. And everyone was freaking out. Wedding planner, oh no, we didn't. She goes, I got it. She yelled at the whole group, I got it. And she said, okay, you guys go here. You people grab this. Go here, over there, this, that, this. And it all worked out great. And they grabbed her and said, how? Did you know it was going to rain? I mean, you had that like a champ. I can't believe how well you handled this. She goes, well, I just thought about the contingency if it would happen. That's how powerful the brain is. But what's neat about that is that when that event does come, or the conversation does come, or the meeting or whatever you're doing, you'll actually have less stress. And what did we read earlier in the other box? Less stress, that reduces the health thing. So if that's going to help reduce the stress, why not try it? I mean, that's crazy. All right. So turn to page 12. Sorry, we'll skip that another. Turn to page 12. Just real quick, I'll read the blue box. On page 12. So it says, too much sugar can cause brain decay, according to the studies at New York University School of Medicine. People who are unable to manage their glucose effectively throughout the day achieved lower scores on short-term memory tests than people with normal blood sugar. So yeah, I know, oh Nick, you said it wasn't going to be a diet talk tonight. Well, it's not. But if you have issues of remembering short-term things like that, sugar might be a thing. So just cut it out. Just change it a little bit. Again, 7 days. See if you notice a difference. If you do, maybe that might be it. So if you've tried the cinnamon, if you've done the exercise or the 45-minute thing or the sleep, and you're like, yeah, I'm still forgetting things, Nick, and this is going on. How much sugar are you taking in? So just be careful. We have a guy, one of the managers at our company drinks how many Diet Cokes a day? That's supposed to be diet? No. There's a thing called aspartame. That's sugar. Okay, so just be careful. Just if there's an issue with your memory and things like that, just cut it out, see if it makes a difference. But it does reduce the memory sugar. Sugar is really, really harsh on your brain. So just be careful. Okay, so turn to page 14. It should say the mindset makeover. This is the positive thinking. Again, I talked about it a little bit earlier. We gave you some tidbits, but I'll go over each of the items here listed. So it says the top 10 on the bottom, the top 10 quick positivity trainers, a daily gratitude list. Takes you 30 seconds to do, right? Three in the morning, what I'm grateful for, 3 at night before you go to bed, just 3 little things. Again, going back to some of the advisors I've done these programs with, they've told me that some of the people have come back 3 years later and said, it's so great to read what I was thankful for 3 years ago. It's really kind of neat to see where I am now, where my family is or friends are. And it's kind of funny when you first start it, you're like, I'm thankful for getting up. I'm thankful for going to bed. I'm thankful for my shoes. Okay. But then it starts getting a little bit more in depth. Like I'm really thankful for my neighbor that let me borrow the lawnmower or whatever it might be. Create a meaningful life vision. Has anybody ever heard of Fortune 500 companies? They all have a mission statement. Every one. Every single one. But do families have a mission statement? Do they have a vision for their family or their kids? Well, might be a fun thing to think about. Why are we a family? What are we doing together as a family? There's going to be things, there's going to be good things and bad things that happen, but if we can keep focused on that vision, it kind of makes all those little things on the outside disappear because we're focused down here for something a little bit bigger than us. Acts of service, charity, volunteering, doing things like that. Amazing health benefits. Absolutely amazing. And it incorporates a lot of other things that we talked about earlier, right? Being with other people and things like that. For laughter, again, Seinfeld, you heard of that guy, Seinfeld? Go on Netflix, watch some of those shows. Super, super funny. A really, really, really clean comedian called Tim Hawkins. I don't know if that name rings a bell. Oh my gosh. Our cheeks and our stomachs hurt so much by watching him. Super clean. Your kids can watch it. Your grandkids can watch it. Tim Hawkins, go check it out online. The journaling, deep breathing we talked about. Massage, I asked in the earlier session. They don't have it in New Hampshire, but I think you guys have it here called Massage Envy. It's a It's a chain. It's very inexpensive to get a massage. You can go in and get a year's worth, and they give you package deals. That way you go once a month. Unbelievable health benefits. Reduces your stress, lets you relax. Really, really good if you can get it. Try Massage Envy. I am not a shareholder. I just like them a lot. We had them in California. When we moved to New Hampshire, they weren't there. We're like, oh no. But my wife and I found a way. So visualization, we talked about that. Count your blessings, same thing. And then the physical activity. Okay, so these are all things you could do to increase your positively makeover. All right, so if you can, turn to page 20. I wanted to give you a day, and the rest of the pages you guys can review when you get home, things like that. But for tonight, I wanted to review these pages. But page 20 is what we call a day in the life of a brain booster. And this is actually one of the PhDs that helped us create this program. Her name is Heidi Hanna. So some of her books are mentioned in the back. This is her normal day. I'm not saying you guys need to do this. I don't do this, but this is her normal day, and this is what she knows is amazing for your brain. Everything I talked about tonight. 6:30, she's up. Here's her breakfast and what she eats. Healthy, right? 7 a.m. morning gratitudes. Write down 3 things, right? We talked about that. She focus exercise, look at her daily training. Up 7:30, time blocking. She says it blocks out specific times for specific projects and email-free blocks. Do you guys email a lot or text a lot? Yeah. So the hard thing now is when you see that little red indication, or it vibrates and says, you got a message. Or, it's notifying you, a red light that says, message, check it, check me. So hard. That's actually very stressful. So what she tried to do is time block out. This is the time I'm going to answer and reply to all of my emails from 9 to 10 in the morning. And she lets her family and friends know, look, I'm not going to reply to you at 8 o'clock at night or 2 in the afternoon. 9 to 10 is when I'm going to respond. It's just like the phone. Remember back in the day, the ground lines? You ask kids now, tell them what a ground line, they'll be like, I don't know what that is. Never heard of ground line. The phones, I remember my parents telling me, when that rang, that's our convenience. That's when we want to answer it. It's not the convenience of the person calling, so it goes to voicemail or the machine. But now with our phones, we answer like that. We respond like that. And it's kind of building up that stress. So just try to time block out. Again, try for 7 days. If you have a problem responding and doing these types of things, just time block out an hour to respond back to the texts and emails and see if that might help you during the day. Okay? So anyway, 9:30, she has her morning snack. We talked about that. 10 a.m., she's walking, getting out. Noon, there's her lunch. 2, she's walking outside again. Evening, organized for tomorrow. 7, her blessings. 9:30, she's preparing for dinner. Here's her sleepy tea. Here's her warm bath. She's writing down her gratitudes, and she's going to have a good night's sleep. Not saying you guys have to do that, but that just shows you what she does. On the facing page, page 21, gives you a sample plan of what she did as well. The neat thing about this workbook is we give you a blank page to do yours. So take out 1 or 2 of the things that I suggested tonight. Watching something funny, going to bed at a good time, waking up or walking or moving every 45 minutes. Give a copy of this sheet to a friend, a family member, a neighbor, someone that can hold you accountable. That's how it's going to work. It really is. Because if you're trying to do it on your own, we're usually like, oh, get up and work out. Nope. Snooze. So give it to someone that will call you and say, hey, did you get up every 45 minutes? Hey, did you put the cinnamon on your latte this morning? Oh, man, I forgot. Okay, well, tomorrow I'll put cinnamon on your coffee. Someone will hold you accountable. And it's very nice. It's no punishments here. All positive. But try these things, please, for 7 days. See if you see a difference. If you do, why not keep going? If it's in your family like it is in mine, it would behoove you to try and add a couple little things to it, if that makes sense. So, does anybody have any questions for me? Yes?
What about exercises like crossword puzzles, Sudoku, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mentioned that. Those are all really, 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 really good. The thing with the Sudoku and the crosswords, though, if that's all you're doing, it's a lot like working out your muscles. If all you're doing is curls, eventually your muscles kind of get used to it. And I'm not saying that it's bad, but mix it up a little bit. So try a different game. Try something new that's good. But yeah, those are all really good. Picking up an instrument, trying something on the artistic side. But yeah, Sudoku, crosswords, those are all really, really, really good. Highly recommended. If you guys have smartphones or the iPads or those types of things, tablets and whatnot, there's free apps. I think a lady from the earlier session said that even AARP offers a free game or brain quiz thing that they send out, like a daily update. So you can just take that quiz. It's free, and it helps your brain. They know, oh no, the AARP, it was a joke or a funny thing that they send out too. So great, why not use it? You know, it's free. You know, have fun. So I'll finish with one more quiz. I told you no more, but this is actually a fun one. Okay, so if I asked you guys to read this, let's go ahead and read it out loud. All right, let's go across. Ready? Blue, red, yellow, orange, green, blue, purple, red, purple, yellow, red, blue, orange. Okay, you got it, right? Y'all did great. Let's try this one. Say the color. Green, red, blue, red. A little bit different, right? But as I say, it's fun to try these couple things. Just that little thing you did right there, kind of your brain went, oh, what? And it's actually healthier, just that little bit. Look, I promise. When you guys are wearing belts, put them on a different way. Use it a different way. Go and brush your teeth tonight. Use a different hand. Try these little types of things. When you're driving home tonight, go a different way. Just try to mix it up a little bit. Subtle little changes like that. If you get lost, call Nathan. He'll help you. But just have fun with it. It's great. I'm glad you guys came. This is a great first step. You guys are with a great investment advisory firm, and I'm so glad that you guys could come out tonight. So thank you for your time.